In this world, a person is granted a random set of skills by consuming a special fruit from an ancient glowing tree. Our main character name, Light, an aspiring adventurer, is on his way to the church to obtain the mysterious fruit for himself and gain a combat-type skill like dual wield or swift. As cool skills like these tend to impress girls, he is accompanied by his childhood friend Lena, who mentions that Light's lifelong dream has been to become an adventurer. Now that the day to receive his skill has arrived, Light excitedly shares his enthusiasm with Lena, expressing how eager he is to begin his new life as an adventurer. Even though Lena is just another woman, Light assumes she must have some sort of ambition, so he asks her if she, too, desires a specific skill from the magical fruit. Having no dreams or goals of her own, Lena simply wants to follow in Light's footsteps. She answers by saying that she wishes to have the same skill as Light so they can pursue the same job and live happily ever after together. Light doesn't think much of it and hopes they can both become the new heroes of this world together. They continue walking down the path until they reach a fancy-looking church. Entering the place, they prepare to eat the magical ancient fruit. Fast forward a few months into the future, Light is now one of the most overpowered adventurers in this anime world, or so one might think. Sadly, no, he's a farmer, having completely changed his goals and now busily harvesting berries on his farmland. Although his dream was to become a hero, he is now stuck as a mere fruit farmer, all because of the useless, bogus skill he received on that unfortunate day. Hiding his pain with a forced smile, Light recounts what happened that day after he and Lena entered the church to receive their skills. Going back to that day, they are welcomed by the Holy Sister, who presents them with the special skill fruit and advises them to pursue professions suited to their skills. Before letting them taste the fruit, the sister mentions one ironclad rule that is crucial for them to obey. They must never attempt to eat another skill fruit, as consuming a second one would surely poison them and take their lives. Hearing that eating a second skill fruit is fatal, all the skill seekers are mortified and begin begging their gods to bestow them with the luck needed to obtain a combat-type skill. Because without it, becoming an adventurer is impossible. Light, already familiar with these rules and conditions, leaves everything to fate and encourages Lena to eat the fruit first since she is the lady here. Reluctantly, Lena picks up one of the fruits presented to her and takes a bite. Instantly, a strange sensation surges through her, as though something sealed deep inside her has been unleashed. She remarks how hot her body feels all of a sudden and starts making happy noises. Just the usual nothing out of the ordinary going on here. As Lena begins to glow like a star, the sister realizes that she has been granted the Sword Saint's skill, instantly making her the most important asset in the country. The sister, who had been waiting for years for a chosen one like Lena, excitedly goes to inform all the nearby guilds about the emergence of the new hero. I mean, surely even the most bogus-sounding skill in the world will turn out to be secretly amazing, right? If the name wasn't obvious enough, Light's skill allows him to harvest fruits like a true master, which, unsurprisingly, has absolutely no connection to combat. Stunned by this cruel twist of destiny, Light can't believe what he's hearing. He falls to his knees and begs the Holy Sister to let him eat another fruit. For obvious reasons, she denies his request and advises him to accept his fate. Seeing her childhood friend reduced to a wreck in his second life, Lena tries to comfort him. She offers kind words, saying that she'll stay by his side and help him grow a massive farm together. But the sister immediately freaks out, exclaiming that while Lena is the sole owner of her skill, she has no right to waste it by farming fruits with someone who has no real contributions to offer this world. The Holy Sister continues, explaining that sword saints like Lena appear only once a decade or worse, a century, making it clear just how rare and valuable her skill is. For the nation's sake, Lena must sacrifice her personal desires and embrace her destiny as an adventurer. Before Lena can even respond, the sister forcefully takes her away, ensuring that her loser friend no longer influences her future. That moment was the last time Light saw his dear childhood friend. 3 months have passed, and Light still regrets not being able to say a proper goodbye to Lena, but life goes on. Determined not to give up entirely, Light has thrown himself into his new role, harvesting fruits with unmatched determination. His skills may be unconventional, but he's earning enough money to sustain himself. One day, on a trip to town to sell his latest harvest, Light spots a news board. Among the announcements, a poster catches his eye. It features Lena, the headline proudly declaring fastest S-rank adventurer in history. It's clear that Lena is the talk of the town, with even the little children dreaming of becoming someone like her. This only frustrates Light, as he too wanted to be her equal. Determined not to be left behind, he begins training relentlessly, even though he knows he has no real chance of becoming an adventurer. He vows to give it his all so that one day he can stand beside Lena as her equal. To motivate himself, Light sets an ambitious and frankly ridiculous goal to cut a tree stump in half using only a sword. He figures that if he becomes strong enough to accomplish this, he'll naturally fulfill the requirements of being a swordsman. However, with his current strength, he barely leaves a scratch on the stump and quickly realizes that the task is utterly impossible. As he sits there in defeat, he imagines Lena's new life being so great that she might have completely forgotten about him. His spiraling thoughts are interrupted by a young girl named Isla, who approaches him and addresses him as her master. For context, a few weeks earlier, while Light was busy farming, the village chief had brought Isla to him, insisting that he take her in. Since then, she has been living and working with him on the farm. Isla, having come to the woods to fetch Light, reminds him that it's almost time for dinner. They return home and over their meal, discuss the day's harvest. During the conversation, Light casually mentions that he has started cultivating skill fruits and proudly shows Isla the 2 boxes containing his harvested fruits. He sternly warns her not to touch them without his permission. Unfortunately, his warning comes too late. Isla, thinking the fruits look tasty, had already added a few to the stew they just ate. The aftermath is straight out of the anime. Only after learning about the added skill fruits does Light begin to feel poisoned. As a familiar intense sensation courses through his body, the same one he experienced 3 months ago, he panics, convinced that he's going to die in vain because of this stupid kid collapsing to the ground with searing pain in his chest. Light bids a dramatic farewell to Isla, making sure to let her know that it wasn't her fault, but the theatrics are short-lived as the pain suddenly disappears, leaving Light utterly confused and questioning how he's still alive. At this moment, a new skill is unlocked, and the Holy Sister from the church also senses that something unusual and special has happened just now. Much like Light, Isla's skill also awakens, and she unknowingly uses it to learn that Light's Fruitmaster skill makes him immune to the poison of all kinds of fruits. Perhaps she has unlocked the appraisal skill, as she uses it again to learn that the new skill Light has just unlocked is called Sword God, which has the ability to dramatically increase Light's attack power when wielding a sword. Eager to use his new skill, Light rushes to the woods and attacks a giant log using his sword, slicing the log in half like butter. Becoming the only person in the world who can have 2 skills, Light starts manifesting his main character energy and again sets his goal to become an adventurer. The next day, he heads to the Adventurers Guild along with Isla and goes to the reception desk alone to register himself as an adventurer. The adventurers at the guild have no manners. They're just a bunch of bums, and one of these bums named Jean deliberately bumps into Light to make fun of him. Having recognized him as the infamous Fruitmaster, Light ignores the bum as he has better things to do, but that only escalates the situation. As the bum draws his sword to attack, Light defends like a pro, embarrassing the group of bums enough to make them leave quietly. With them gone, Light takes his very first guild commission job and sets out in the wastelands with Isla to hunt slimes. Being overpowered as heck, Light easily hunts his prey down and has Isla collect the valuables from the carcasses, tempting her with the offer of a pizza. Suddenly, they overhear someone screaming for their lives, and conveniently enough, it's the group led by the worthless scum from before who has run into an ogre. The bum named Jean notices Light in the distance, so he leads the ogre straight to him, running away without looking back once. Light isn't scared of the monster. Instead, he's excited to mark the beginning of his ideal journey as a Fruitmaster swordsman. He dodges the first attack and is reminded by Isla that his Sword God skill doesn't increase his physical defense, meaning that if he's hit once by the ogre, it will be his death for sure. Regardless of the setbacks, Light takes the risk as he wants to leave a mark on the golden pages of history by becoming the greatest adventurer ever. With that in mind, he lunges at the monster and, maximizing the power output, slices the ogre's weapon before decapitating the ogre's head using the Sword God skill Demon Slash. With this win, Light is certain that he will catch up to his childhood friend Lena in no time, and expresses how much he owes to his Fruitmaster skill for allowing him to have multiple skills at once. Meanwhile, Jean, along with his group in the background, reveals that he has been watching the fight and wonders who this guy even is. Anyway, they all return to the guild where Light proudly tells the receptionist how he defeated the ogre alone, and shows her the ogre's horn as proof. Unlike Jean, his teammates acknowledge Light for saving their lives and praise him for how awesome he is, even as a rookie. Light is happy that his first day as an adventurer has turned out to be a success and hopes that things will continue this way. However, when the S-ranked party Sacred enters the guild, their very presence makes him realize that he has a long way to go before reaching the top. As the members of Sacred get closer, Light sees that one of their members is none other than Lena, who is now a countrywide star. Light excitedly approaches Lena, having not seen her once in the past 3 months, and asks how she's been doing, but she straight up refuses to know him, telling him that he has mistaken her for someone else. I mean, that's just how they all behave when they become successful in life, don't they? And with that, we have come to the end of this part. Stay tuned for next part. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell to receive all the latest updates.